Tank and Frank Martin, what you think about that fight?
It's boxing. What's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Boxing professionals have made their final picks ahead of the fight between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin.
That's right.
What kind of fight you think we're going to be looking forward to?
While the favorite is clear, there were some shocking picks as well. The whole world of boxing is ready for one of the biggest fights of the year, featuring the self-acclaimed face of boxing as he takes on the Detroit challenger Frank Martin. Expectedly, boxing professionals can't keep calm as they've been all over the place in revealing their predictions and making their picks. It's another high-profile championship boxing matchup featuring undefeated fighters takes place on Saturday as World Boxing Association lightweight champion Gervonta Davis meets surging contender Frank Martin. Their 12-round showdown tops the main Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin fight card, 8 p.m. ET from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Davis returns to the ring for the first time in more than a year. In his last performance, he stopped then undefeated prospect Ryan Garcia in the 7th round of their April meeting last year. Martin is a versatile fighter whose last outing resulted in a 12-round unanimous decision against Artem Harutyunyan last July in Las Vegas. Both fighters are undefeated southpaws known for stalking their opponents, though they go about their ring prowess in different ways. Davis, who will be making the 6th defense of his World Boxing Association lightweight title, is known as a sometimes slow starter who can give his opponents a false sense of security with his relative inactivity.
There's that left hook again as Tank stays just low enough. Quick uppercut, Ryan's going for that.
But as he finds his range and gauge in his opponent's tendencies, he's looking for an opportunity to unleash the lethal left hand that none of his opponents have been able to withstand. The 29-year-old Baltimore native used this formula to perfection against Garcia, whose pre-fight confidence and durability appeared unflappable. But after Davis floored Garcia with a left hand in the 2nd round, Garcia barely beat the count and appeared tentative the rest of the way. Garcia went down from a body shot in the 7th round and made no attempt to beat the count while absorbing an embarrassing first career defeat. By contrast, Martin is more of a ring technician who relies on volume and accuracy to take control of his fights. The 29-year-old Detroit native uses a snappy right jab to find his range and keep his opponents on their heels.
Of course, Martin has showcased some stellar defensive ability in his blossoming.
However, when he decides to load up on a combination, Martin can also use his right hand as a power punch, and he has downed numerous opponents with it. Even so, Martin has just 2 stoppages among his last 5 victories and is unlikely to pursue a phone booth-style battle with the lethal Davis, who will likely be looking to close the distance.
That's already on display tonight too,
Despite Gervonta Davis's feud with Floyd Mayweather, the 50-0 boxing legend wasn't hesitant to give his thoughts on this weekend's fight between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. And for the first time, Floyd Mayweather sounded very indecisive. However, this is totally understandable. In an interview with Mill City Boxing, he was asked to predict the Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin fight, and he said, "It's boxing. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. It's boxing." I can't speak to anybody. I'm not here to speak on nobody else's fighting style or anybody else's fighting ability. The world of boxing is what it is. You don't just never know what can happen in the sport. We take losses every day. Even though, I've had my hand raised every time I went there and performed.
I'm not here to speak on nobody else's fighting style or nobody else's fighting ability. The world of boxing is the world of...
He then continued, "But when I lost my Uncle Roger, that was a defeat. I lost. When I lost a lot of loved ones around me, my grandmother, when I lost the mother of my children, those are losses you can't bounce back from."
Right.
We take losses every day, even though I may have had my hand raised every time I went out there and performed, but when I lost my...
Those are lifetime losses. And as long as you went out there and gave it 100% in that squared circle, if you know you gave it 100% and you're happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
Uncle Roger, that was a defeat. I lost. When I lost a lot of loved ones around me, my grandmother, when I lost the mother of my children, I mean, those losses you can't bounce back from.
Next, Floyd Mayweather's protege, who had been dubbed the next Floyd Mayweather, also predicted the fight, inclining towards a Tank Davis win. He was asked in a virtual interview about the fight this weekend between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. He responded, "It's going to be a great fight."
It's gonna be a great fight. Both skillful guys. I'm leaning towards Tank only because Frank.
Both are skillful guys. I'm leaning towards Tank only because Frank Martin didn't really have the experience, like boxing when he was young, and I feel like that's really important, like with boxers. That experience, that's like the most important thing.
Experience like boxing when he was young, and I feel like that's real important. Like with boxers, that's like that experience. That's like the most important.
He further explained, "You could be boxing like if somebody started boxing when he was 6 and they only boxed for 4 years. Somebody started at 17 and they boxed for years. The dude that boxed when he was younger is going to be better because it's just like you when you're young."
Boxing when he was younger is gonna be better because it's like installed into you when you're young. So I feel like Tank gonna. I don't know if he'll knock Frank out. Frank a dog, but.
He then claimed, "So, I feel like Tank is gonna, I don't know if he'll knock Frank out. Frank is a dog."
It's kind of he said, she said type of a thing, but overall, everyone said it was great work, though.
Okay.
You think it's a stop? You think that that fight goes the distance?
I don't.
I don't know. Both of the guys, they're not just going to go out like that. So I feel like if it does end early, it'll be in Tank's favor. But Frank has the chance to get the decision because Tank gives away rounds a little bit. He looks for his big shots. I don't really know. I'm leaning towards Tank for the win.
I like that. So I feel like if it does end early, it'll be in Tank's favor. Frank got the chance to get a decision because Tank gave away rounds a little bit.
Finally, Frank Martin hinted once more how he would have loved to be in the undercard of this weekend's fight. However, he was denied the opportunity by Gervonta Tank Davis. Yes, that's a huge card. I love to be a part of it. I'd love to be a part of all the big pay-per-view cards. Former world champion Andre Berto claimed he believes World Boxing Association lightweight title holder Gervonta Davis will beat Frank Martin in their upcoming fight.
You know, that's how I like both guys, but it's hard to go against Tank, man.
His reason for picking Gervonta Davis was mainly because of the fact that Frank Martin had more than just his opponent to combat on fight night, as he also had the big stage of headlining a PPV to fight against, an experience he'll be having for the very first time. I like both guys, but it's hard to go against Tank. He's got the full package. He's fast, he's strong. A lot of people turn a blind eye to the fact that he has a very good base. Davis is used to these big events. This will be the first time we see Frank Martin in a big show.
And, you know, he has kind of the full package, man. Like I say, he's fast, he's strong.
A lot of times the big event paralyzes a lot of guys, especially when you're going up against a beast like Davis. So Martin has a lot of things to try to overcome. I'm talking about skill, strength, and atmosphere. That's why I favor Davis, Berto said. It turns out Andre Berto is supporting Gervonta Davis not only for boxing reasons, but for friendship reasons as well, as he has a very good relationship with Gervonta Davis's big brother, Adrian Broner. Just last week, Andre Berto was present at the ringside to support Adrian Broner in his fight against Blair Cobbs. And after the fight, he spoke about Adrian Broner's inactivity as a major contributor to his loss. Andre Berto was obviously present to support Adrian Broner, and the defeat surely left him so disappointed, like the rappers who came for Bronner's sake. It was tough to watch. I wanted to come down and support my boy. I wanted to see him come out with a victory tonight, but like I said, he was off for a while. I think he just made the fight a lot harder than it was supposed to be. Afterwards, he announced the news of Bronner's injury, claiming he was just coming out of the dressing room, and Adrian Broner wasn't looking too good. I just left the dressing room. I think he broke his hand. So he's going to be on his way to the hospital, but that's the fight game. Regardless of the disappointment, Andre Berto claimed he was proud of Bronner's ability to defy all odds and make it to the ring again. He's the person that has given us tremendous fights for a lot of years, and the last 2 years were kind of tough for him. Everybody knows he had a long span off, and he's battled with a lot of issues. I was surprised that he was able to be strong enough to go through a camp and come back and fight. I'm proud of him regardless, but like I said, he's lost. Just how he wants to take it, he has to reevaluate the situation. Also, Andre Berto was asked about what this meant to Adrian Broner, if it was a retirement and the final way the sport of boxing bids him goodbye. Expectedly, Berto didn't commit too much with his statements, claiming that was Adrian Broner's decision to make, if he wanted a retirement or not. That's his decision. There's one thing about this fight game, you try to stay around too long, and if you don't take it as seriously as you should, it won't love you back. So I think he has to sit firm. If he wants to have this fight, he has to be down and get back, train like he needs to, and be as healthy as possible just to come right back, or if he wants to do some stuff around with it, it won't go well enough. Former professional boxer Tony Bellew also predicted a win for Gervonta Davis, saying, "Gervonta Davis is one of boxing's biggest attractions, and I'm looking forward to seeing the heavy-handed star back in action this weekend. Tank will take on Frank Martin with the world lightweight title going to the winner, and I think this has all the ingredients to be a brilliant fight." He then added, "Davis was always going to be a big name because he's a huge puncher and he's got a nasty streak to the way he fights. His association with Floyd Mayweather helped him get to that position a lot quicker, but I knew from watching him early in his career that he was eventually going to be one of the best fighters the sport has to offer."
No fighter has zero chance, no boxer has any chance.
After he stopped Ryan Garcia last year, Davis's career has gone to another level as he was able to take part in a marquee fight and grab himself a big win. Garcia has gone on to register some notable victories since then, so the Davis result looks even better now, and this is where he has to push on. Moving on, Tony Bellew claimed, "Being a puncher who usually blows his opponents away makes it hard to back against Davis, but I think this fight could be harder than people think. Martin is a quality operator with a solid pedigree, and if Davis isn't at his best, this could be a long night for him."
Whatsoever against the minute someone comes at you and starts doing this.
Martin is trained by Derek James, and when you've got someone like that in your corner, you will always believe you have a chance. This is a well-rounded fighter who's won all his professional bouts so far, and he was also an impressive amateur too. He's 18, but he has plenty of experience of being in the ring, and that includes aiming high when sparring, as he's been in the ring with Davis already. The challenger has been calling for this fight for a very long time, and you make that sort of noise, it means you're confident and you believe you can win. Martin is hungry for this fight, but he could be in for a very harsh realization when the first bell goes. It's too hard to back against Davis as he's the fighter with the proven class, but he's going to have to be at 100% because I really like Martin.
Just hold your hands up, bro. Just hold your hands up and say, "I'm good. I don't."
He, however, concluded, Tank can get himself a late stoppage win, but don't be surprised if he's behind on the scorecards when that moment comes. Also, making his prediction, Gervonta Davis's trainer, Calvin Ford, implored Martin to push the buttons of his fighter so he brings out the best in him. "Look at him," said Ford.
Nobody talking about the Hunters fight at the MGM. We're going to see greatness that night. It's about the fight. It ain't about the champion. It's about the fight.
I see this. He's pushing forwards to where he's supposed to be. Martin is here for a reason. I understand that. Derek James understands that. Errol Spence understands that. He's here for a reason, and I want him to push the buttons because I haven't seen the real Tank yet. This camp is totally different. He's mentally different.
Fight. Come that night, I want people to leave this show, watch this show, and sit there and say to themselves like they came from a karate.
Calvin Ford had even given more elaboration on this when he represented Gervonta Davis at the Grand Arrival. "We're back in business. We've been waiting for this for a while," Ford said of Davis's first fight back after 14 months.
During last year's super fight against Ryan Garcia, since that last performance, not giving us specifics, but how much has Tank improved?
Oh, watching them in camp.
We want to put on a great performance. We want to put on a great performance for the fans at the end of the day. Watching him in camp, it scares me because of the things he's doing and his maturity when he gets in that ring. I've seen him listen to a conversation, listen to what's going on, and he's really focused.
I know he's very focused, but you have an update on Gervonta Davis in regards to his status for today.
I want to apologize to the fans that he can't make it at this moment because he's been delayed.
Asked about the threat posed by Detroit's Martin, Ford said, "It's serious because it's a different type of fight. You can't sleep on Frank. Frank is coming to put on that party. He showed it at the press conference. He showed it throughout the whole ordeal for being a young guy that's coming on the scene at this level right here. I want people to leave, watch TV, and leave the arena saying that's one of the classiest fights we've seen since the old days.
Well, y'all know we in camp, we training and whatnot, right? And I've been like, how would I say, pushing the button, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we've been gone for so long and whatnot.
In the opposite corner, Derek James predicted in favor of his fighter, admonishing his fighter to go get the win.
You need to use that for fuel for fire to, you know, get in the ring and prove your point. Because he obviously believes in himself, and that's dope, because we wouldn't be here if we didn't believe in ourselves.
You've got to be able to use that fuel for fire. We wouldn't be here if we didn't believe in ourselves. We will see Frank come out and be the best version of himself, follow the game plan, follow the strategy, and go out there and be phenomenal.
So, it's good he believes in the situations, because he's supposed to. I like that. So you'll see Frank come out and do what he needs to do to be the best version of himself.
What kind of performance are you expecting from Frank?
Promoter Leonard Ellerby, on seeing this, addressed the level jump in level of competition Martin is facing, said, "You can't skip steps, and you get that over a period of time. Frank's a good fighter, but there's a difference between being good and special."
Let's be real. Okay, for starters, in 2017, do you know what Tank was doing? Tank became world champion. You know what Frank Martin was doing? He wasn't even professional yet.
That didn't pass.
Okay? So one thing about this boxing shit, you can't skip steps. It's something what we call experience. And you gain that over a period of time by fighting the top fighters and doing your thing. Again, I can't say enough about what I personally think, that Frank's a good fighter. But there's a difference between good and being special. This man to my right, he's special. Everything that Frank Martin does good, Tank does better. And come Saturday night, don't blink, because this shit could be over early.
Leonard Ellerby certainly bringing the fire, saying it's going, I'm going to paraphrase Leonard, it's going to be over early. My goodness, a prediction from Leonard Ellerby. All right, now let's meet the other promoter from Mandan Promotions. This man has been a part.
Even long before the fight was fixed, Leonard Ellerby showed no faith in Frank Martin. For those who believe he can do what 29 others haven't, Leonard Ellerby, former chief executive officer of Mayweather Promotions, was convinced that they have lost their minds. Frank Martin can't beat Tank Davis, Ellerby told Sean Zittel of FightHype.com. None of those guys can beat Tank Davis. Frank's a good-ass fighter. He can't beat Tank, though. Ellerby, by and large, has heard it all before. He's listened to previous lightweight contenders, including Ryan Garcia, bombastically bloviate over what they'll do to Davis, only to come up incredibly short in the ring. As at the time, Martin's name continued to pick up traction. Ellerby, though, wouldn't confirm nor deny whether or not he was the frontrunner. For those who are waiting patiently for something to be announced, Ellerby made it known that when the time comes, you'll hear it directly from the horse's mouth. Tank will decide who he's fighting, and when he decides that, he'll make an announcement. Tank is the boss. He'll be fighting soon. Speaking about what he expects from himself, Frank Martin claimed he was embracing the underdog role, and he was ready to pull off a surprising performance on Saturday night. "I'm most definitely embracing the underdog role. It's good," said Martin. "It's more motivation than me being the guy that is supposed to take it all. I like that people are sleeping on me and calling me a cherry pick."
You know what I mean? He ain't been in there with nobody like me. I'm coming different, you know, when you say Kyle.
Everybody is a beatable fighter, and they will see June 15th that he is beatable. He makes mistakes, but he's been able to get away from other fighters. In his last few fights, he's down on the scorecards and then lands a big shot to get them out of there. He might not come out and start slow against me. He might start fast.
Different, you know, when you say, Kyle, when you say push them buttons, I'm gonna push every button that he got on his ass. Every one, you know what I mean? So June 15th, y'all.
Although Davis has been a slow starter in some of his recent fights, the ending of the script is always the same, a knockout finish. Tank fought twice in 2023, a 9th-round knockout against Hector Luis Garcia and a 7th-round knockout against Ryan Garcia. "That rehydration clause took a lot out of Ryan," said Martin. He couldn't do his thing like he probably would have been able to. Tank put on a good performance in that fight. Ryan kept throwing the same competitive combinations, and Tank is known for catching guys and knocking them out when they are doing the same thing.
We got clipped, grabbed.
That's another thing. You never
shook.
clipped me. What are you talking about?
I didn't clip you?
No, you did not. You caught me with a good shot. That's it. That happened in boxing. You never clipped me. I never shook.
The Ghost insists he's not spooked by the fellow Southpaw Davis's devastating power. If you know a guy is cracking, you just have to embrace it, and that's what it is, said Martin. But you don't want to go in there slug for slug, blow for blow. You have to embrace some shots that are going to land, and you have to take them, bite down, and give it back. To be honest, there hasn't been anybody that I've been in there with where I'm like, damn, they hit, they weren't cracking. I never got hit too clean.
Look
Y'all got
pussy.
You pussy. All right. You show me Saturday. Show me Saturday I'm pussy.
Martin believes he will be the one who is ultimately delivering the debilitating damage. He's promising a knockout performance. You can expect a mind-blowing performance that will shock the world, said Martin. Tank is an explosive fighter. I have my explosiveness as well. It's going to be fireworks. Beating Tank will open up the doors to everything, many doors. Doors that I never thought would be open. I'm just ready to get out there and open these doors.
All right. You show me Saturday. Show me Saturday I'm pussy.
Nigga always Saturday. That fake hard shit.
Fuck is you talking?
You trying to foul his face.
Show me Saturday.
Gervonta, do you want to? What was your interpretation of the?
Frank Martin also added, "We've just got to go 12 rounds." Frank Martin said what he needed to say to sell pay-per-views. Don't slip up. Don't run into something, Martin told unbeaten lightweight champion Gervonta Davis on stage. If he does, you're all going to see Gervonta Davis knocked out. If he comes in and acts crazy, he's going to sleep.
You know, he had a good camp. I think that you got to be able to, use that as fuel for fire.
And that's all for now. What are your predictions for the Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin fight? Let's know your thoughts in the comment section. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.